Hey guys, how you doing? I just got off the phone with my dad. Another entertaining conversation. He is branching out. He wants to learn more about different types of food he can cook. He wanted to know how to make oatmeal. I just come back from visiting them and I was eating oatmeal in the morning and he didn't ask me, how did you make that oatmeal? The conversation went more like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good, Dad. How are you? Yeah, those blue things. What were those blue things called? What blue things? Those blue things you put in that, the thing that you made in the morning. I made a thing with blue things? Yeah. You know what? The oatmeal. The oatmeal. What did you put in those? All the blue things in the oatmeal. Blueberries. Yeah, blueberries. That's what I thought. But I tried the blueberries and it wasn't like yours. I go, what do you mean? I made the oatmeal. First I made it once and it was really thick and it burnt on the bottom of the pot, and then I made it again and it was runny. But I got it one time. I think I did it okay. But the blueberries every time, they're just a blue mush. There's no blueberries. It's all mushed up. And I go, well, Dad, how did you make the oatmeal? He goes, I don't know. Every time I make it, something goes wrong. How do you do it? How did you do it? And I go, it's very simple, Dad. You have to use a 2-to-1 ratio. Oh, 2-to-1. I just kind of measure it in there. I put a little bit of water in there and pick a handful of oatmeal and I throw it in there. I go, that's why it's not working, Dad. It has to be the right proportions. Chefs follow recipes. And in the case of oatmeal, it's 2 parts water and 1 part oatmeal. That's the perfect ratio, with a little pinch of salt if you like that. And then you bring that you warm it slowly, not too hot because it's going to burn on the bottom. You put it on low temperature. And when it just starts getting ready to bubble, Dad, you put the lid on and you turn the heat off and you just leave it there. You leave it for 5-10 minutes and then it's beautiful. It's a consistency. And just before it's done there, when it's boiling, that's when I put the blueberries in. You wait till the end to put the blueberries in? I've got the frozen blueberries. I have to stand there beside the oatmeal the whole time, wait till the end and put it in. I put them in the beginning. Like, well, that's it. You're putting them in the beginning, and then the water's boiling and heating. You're boiling your blueberries, and they're all falling apart, and they're no good, Dad. That's what's happening. He goes, what's the difference? If I put them in the back, put everything in the beginning, and I turn it on, and then when it's ready, I eat it. Like, but that's why your blueberries, why it's a blue mush. Like, blueberries are like a berry. They're like a fruit, Dad. What's the difference? You put them at the beginning or the end? I go, Dad, for example, you're cooking your blueberries. You're boiling your would you boil your cantaloupe before you eat it? Or how about an orange? If you're going to have an orange, would you boil the orange before you eat it? He goes, okay, I'll try it your way. No problem. But it's a good thing that he's starting to branch out and he wants to do some new things because it's his responsibility now to make dinner and to prepare the food. My mom used to do everything. My mom used to do the cooking and everything for 60 years. But now they're both 83, and my mom, she's a little bit more immobile. She gets stressed out about things. She's in a wheelchair a lot of the times. She can move around with her cane or her walker, but standing around in the kitchen and she gets tired and she doesn't want to do it. So it's up to my dad. And he only knew how to cook one thing. And that's a fish. But for him, fish means stocked rainbow trout that he catches. He catches them himself. He won't buy them at the store. He catches them himself at this pond in Ontario that's stocked. It's a conservation area where they stock these fish. And all these kind of people his age go there. And it opens at 10 o'clock every morning. And they don't go on the weekend because it's too crowded. And then they go during the week. And they're all there at 10 o'clock. And the conservation guy pulls up with this truck. And he's got a barrel full of fish, like 300 little rainbow trout. And he throws them in there. And then they all start casting their lures. And, they can catch like 3 or 4 each. And my dad said, I always get the biggest one, right? The fish are all about the same. But they kind of say, well, I got a big one. Mine's bigger than yours. Obviously, I'm a better fisherman. And they have their man banter, right? And he brings home fish and fish and fish. He's got the freezer full of fish. And when I went to visit him, of course, the first night he says, I'll make fish. I got a new way of cooking fish. He always has a new way of cooking fish, but he's forgetful. So every time he makes the fish, he thinks it's a new way. And he tells me, I got a new way of cooking fish. You fillet them, and then on a little bit of oil, you put them skinned down, put a little bit of soy sauce on there, and you just fry them for a little while, and then I make them with a little bit of pasta and a salad. It's beautiful. And he made it, and it was okay, right? kind of those stocked fish. They taste like the mud of the water that you catch them from, but for him it's like wild. And so the next day, I was there for like a week a little while ago. The next day, Dad, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? I've got a new way of cooking fish. Let me show you. Dad, we had the fish yesterday. No. It's a new way of cooking fish. Let me show you. I fillet them and I put them. Dad, wait. I'll make dinner tonight. So I made dinner a few nights. But every night when it was thinking about dinner time, I could make the fish. I've got a new way of cooking fish. And I asked my mom. I said, Mom, how many times do you eat fish now? She goes, all the time, every day. I go, do you like the fish? She doesn't like the fish, right? So he's got to learn some new things. Luckily, he's learning oatmeal. That's a breakfast, I know, but he has to do the stuff now. So hopefully, I'll get him to do some different dinner stuff. I asked him, like, what did you have for dinner last night, or what are you having for dinner tonight? And he talked about the fish, and he wasn't sure. So he has to learn some new things. When we were there, my mom taught him one of the things that she makes is these chicken cutlets. They buy chicken breasts and they slice them really thin, and then they put them in egg, and then they bread them, and then they fry them. And they call it fried chicken cutlets, and they make that with some salad or something. They made that one day. And he's done it about 5 or 6 times, 7 times now, and he knows what he's doing, but he gets anxious before he has to make them. Like, what are we going to have for dinner? And I go, well, you can make your chicken cutlets. And he goes, okay, I'll make the chicken cutlets. And then at 11 o'clock, I notice him in the kitchen. He's moving pots around. He's putting oil in the pan. He's got the chicken on. I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm making the chicken cutlets. I go, we're going to eat it around 5 or 6. Well, I got to get them ready. Well, you're going to bread them, or what are you? No, I got to get them ready. I don't want to leave it till the last minute. And then he's like cooking the chicken cutlets at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. And he's fried them. And you fried the chicken cutlets, now we're going to eat at 6. He goes, I'll warm them up. I don't want to be rushed when I'm doing it. And anyway, that's a different story. But I'm hoping they eat healthy, right? They used to live in a house where he had a beautiful garden. And he grew tomatoes and cucumbers and all sorts of vegetables. And whenever they had dinner, they always supplemented it with a huge salad, like massive. He'd go out into the garden and pick all this fresh stuff that he planted himself, and they'd make this big salad. And they did oil, olive oil, and balsamic vinegar, and a little pepper and salt, and minced up garlic in there, and a squirt of lemon, and it was fantastic. Tasted great. But now they've moved into the apartment, and so he doesn't have to garden anymore. And so now when they're making dinner, it can't at the last minute just go outside and gather up some stuff, right? So they don't have very much salad. I looked in his fridge when we were there, and he has like a wilted piece of celery and a carrot and a little like quarter head of lettuce. And so if they're going to make a salad, it's not that much. And so I asked him, Dad, did you go out shopping? Did you get some stuff? You guys love to eat salads with your meals. Did you stock up on some stuff so you can have some good healthy stuff? And he goes, I'll have you know, we had an amazing a side of asparagus with our fish yesterday. He made fish yesterday. Yeah, but we had asparagus. He gets it's the time of year he's gone to get his asparagus. He does this every year. And, I don't want him to do that anymore, because where he gathers his asparagus is like, it's like a 7-kilometer bike ride. He doesn't take the car. He rides his bike, and it's at the edge of where he's living there, and it's through a construction zone, and then down this big ravine, and he has to cross this creek, which is kind of like a storm sewer, and he leaves his bike there, and then he takes his shoes off and he crosses the creek, and then he has to go up this hill, and you got to get him on the south-facing side of this hill where the creek is. That's where the sun comes down, and the fresh asparagus, they're the first ones to come up, and you got to get them when they're less than 8 inches tall, because that's when they're the tenderest. If you go on the north-facing slope, there's no asparagus. You got to go on this side. And he explained it all, right? But I remember one time when he went to get the asparagus, he did all that, and he crossed, and he had a big like green garbage bag, like 15 pounds of asparagus. But then it started raining while he was picking them, and he kept picking them, and it rained and rained and rained. And when he was coming back, the little creek, which is the storm runoff, it had gone up like 2 feet, and he had to like wade across a torrential storm thing 20 feet across to get back, and he was soaking from And then he took his clothes off to dry them, and he was in the forest naked, and some kids went by, and it's a long story, but he made it home, but he was really tired. So I just don't want him dealing with that. I said, you could just buy the asparagus at the store, Dad. He goes, no, I like it fresh. I like it fresh. We had the asparagus and it was fantastic. I go, okay, you had the asparagus. It was great. That's good, Dad. Well, what about tomorrow? What are you going to have? And he says, well, maybe tomorrow we might have some mushrooms. And I go, what do you mean maybe you might have some mushrooms? Well, it depends. If it rains, we're going to have mushrooms. If not, I'm going to go get some more asparagus. And I go, what do you mean if it rains, you're going to have mushrooms? Is it like mushrooms is a rainy food? He goes, no, you idiot. The mushrooms don't sprout unless it rains. I've got my favorite mushroom forest. I go there, and if it rains, about half a day after it rains, you got to go there, and they're sprouting amongst the roots of these certain trees that I know in the forest. It's about a half-hour drive, and then I got to cut down this cut line, and then I go down this slope there, and it's a little bit of an S thing, and then there's a forest, and the roots are exposed, and it's really mossy. It's quite wet, so I wear my hip waders. Dad, what if it doesn't rain? So if it doesn't rain, you're not going to eat? Well, if it doesn't rain, I'll go get some more asparagus. Well, that's a 7-kilometer bike ride. What's the difference? I know where to get the stuff. I have my asparagus spot. I have my mushroom forest. I can take care of myself. It's not the point whether you can you don't have to go out and forage for your food every night before you prepare dinner. Right? I got to have something to do during the day. Like, he thinks that he has to scavenge, go out and scavenge around for nuts and berries and pick things off shrubs, and he on the boulevard of the subdivision, he's there with a knife picking up this stuff that looks like weed, but apparently it's a really good Italian thing that you put in. It's bitter, but it's good for you. I don't know. They got these weird names. But I'm trying to convince you, don't just have to a forage for everything. You got to relax now, Dad. You don't have your big garden. I'll order some food for you. I'll phone the supermarket. I'll put in an order. I'll have it delivered if it's too. He goes, what do you mean you're going to put in an order? Oh, you're going to do it from what you live 4,000 kilometers away. How are you going to shop for me? I go online. I write a list of what you need, and then the supermarket, they'll have someone gather it up and deliver it to you guys. There's a little bit of a delivery fee, but I'll have it delivered. Because you're gonna send it to them, and you think they're gonna get the right food? And I go, I'm gonna, tomatoes, carrots, lettuce, I'll make a list and they'll send it to me. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. You know what that's how you get all the cheap stuff. They're gonna have some young kid there. He's not gonna know which tomatoes are ripe. I'm gonna end up with all the crap stuff. He doesn't know what kind of lettuce I like. I like the romaine lettuce and that red lettuce. He's probably gonna bring me an iceberg lettuce and some tomatoes that aren't ripe. And the cucumber's gonna be too long, and it's gonna not be. He has to, it has to be. He knows everything, but he doesn't remember to go and get it. So he's against having it delivered, but I'm gonna have it delivered anyway. Because it's time for them to relax now, right? And maybe I can help them out by ordering the stuff for them, trying not to get them excited or make them feel like I'm insulting them. But he has to slow down. That's why they moved to this condo in the first place, right? They had the house, but it was too much work. There was a lot of stairs, so my mom couldn't do the stairs anymore. And then they were on a corner lot. They had about a quarter acre of grass for him to mow, and he was mowing the grass continuously because he couldn't get it done. So he'd mow and mow and mow, and then he'd stop, and then the next day he'd mow, continue, and stop, and then the next day he'd mow and mow and mow, and he'd be done. But then the thing he did 3 days ago would be growing, so he'd start again. He was mowing every day, and a lot of big driveway to shovel snow in the winter, and he had a heart attack. And he tells, what are you talking about? I had a heart attack. It was a small heart attack. They told me it was a minor heart attack. I go, Dad, you have a stent in your heart now. Stent, it's nothing. I go, you have a stent in one of your arteries because it was 98% occluded, and you almost died when you were shoveling the driveway that a couple of years ago. And he goes, I didn't almost die. It was fine. All I did, I started shoveling, and I got halfway done, and then I couldn't catch my breath. I go, that's a heart attack, Dad. You could have keeled over and died. He goes, I'm not going to keel over and died. I was fine. I go, did you just call did you call 911 and go 911 and go to the hospital? I didn't call 911. I called your mother. I told her to bring a chair. You go, bring a chair? What do you mean? I told her to bring a chair outside. I go, hey, bring a chair outside. And she said, what do you need a chair outside there? It's snowing. Bring a chair outside. So she brought one of the kitchen chairs out. What did you need a chair for? Well, I had to rest. I couldn't breathe. So I'm not going to sit in the snow. So she brought a chair out onto he's half finished shoveling the driveway. This is true, okay? And he sits down on the chair. He's sitting on the chair. And he continues, shoveled a little bit more. And he goes, when I got tired, I sat on the chair and rested. I go, you didn't go to the doctor? He goes, yes, I went to the hospital, but I had to clear the driveway first. And then I drove to the hospital. You didn't call 911? No, I went myself. And of course, he's cheap. So he didn't drive right to the hospital and pay for parking. No, because parking might have cost him $20. No, he parked in a subdivision about 3 kilometers away, which is the closest you could park for free. You park, you're having a heart attack and you park 3 kilometers away from the, why didn't you call your daughter who lives there or an ambulance? He goes, I was fine. I parked and I walked to the hospital. I got tired a few times. I rested in a snowbank once. I was fine. Yeah, so what happened? Well, I got there and they did some tests and they said I had a minor heart attack. You were having a minor heart attack. I was fine. No, you were having a minor heart attack. They admitted you. You phoned me. I flew there. And then you had a heart procedure the next day where they installed a stent in your 98% occluded artery, which wasn't pumping blood through your heart. I'm fine now. And I can't stand these blood thinners they gave me. Every time I knock my arms on something, I get these bruises now. Now he's he's on blood thinners because he's got this stent and he had a heart attack. He has to take these blood thinners for the rest of his life. And every time he knocks something, he gets bruises. So he's got this little skinny guy with bruises all over him. It looks like he's being abused, but it's the blood thinners. So at least he's thinking of food. He's thinking like a new, rather than just having a banana and an egg in the morning. And I bought him the Ensures, the protein supplement, and now it's easier to drink the Ensure than make an egg. So thankfully he's thinking about some oatmeal. So I'm going to give him a call tomorrow morning and say, hey, Dad, did you try the oatmeal? Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Did you put in the blueberries after you boiled the water? Did you measure it 2-to-1? All these things I have to remind him. But the thing I'm concerned about now the most is making sure that they have enough stuff in the fridge so that when if he still has the desire to prepare things and do things, that's great, right? Because they have to keep busy. I'm thinking of whether I buy them pre-made meals. I've done that, and he says, they're no good. I make better food than that, but they are good. I've tried them. They're like heart healthy. I bought them, and they come frozen though, right? So he said, I don't want to eat frozen TV dinners. They're not TV dinners. They're balanced meals. And I bought him some, and they eat them. But he said he would prefer to make the stuff himself, right? They prefer to cook for himself as long as he can. And if they have the stuff there, if it's in the fridge, he'll open the fridge. Oh, what am I going to make? And he'll see all that stuff and he'll make it. If he forgets to, because he's forgetful, he'll forget to go to the grocery store. Or he'll forget that he doesn't have something, and he'll open the fridge and he'll go, oh, all I have is a wilted piece of celery and half 2 leaves of lettuce. I'll make a salad, and that'll be the salad. It'll be this. So I'm going to put in an order of a variety of stuff. I got to get not too much. Because if the fridge is full, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen with who's going to eat all this, right? Then it's a different argument, but not too little, so that it's kind of a nice balance. I'm going to put in an order and have it delivered, and that's going to be the next conversation. Dad, there's going to be someone showing up at the apartment, and they're going to ring the bell and they're going to say it's a delivery from Safeway. What? What's Safeway delivery? It's going to be a box of food. A box? What am I going to do with the box? It'll be a different discussion, but I'm going to get him some. I'm going to order some stuff. But anyway, always entertaining. I hope my dad's oatmeal worked out. Is what I'm saying. It's that's how it's going, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Share the video so that more people can engage in the exciting adventures I have with my parents. And let me know what you think with your comments. Stay safe, stay happy, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.